Oh my goodness. Okay. Hello everyone, and what is up, gamers? Oh, why? What is not muted because I can hear myself and it's really distracting. That was nasty. I didn't enjoy that at all. Hello everyone. How's everybody doing today? This is the most terrifying stream I've ever done in my life, and that's yeah. So hi, it me. Here she is. Wee. Oh damn. Oh no. Oh, my little flying me was in the way. We missed the dance. So I'll just play that again. Sledge, thank you very much indeed for the sub. You absolute champion. Thank you, thank you, thank you so very much. Okay. So I guess I should just like jump right into it cuz here we are. This is my kitchen. Hello and welcome to the place where I do baking. God, the angles on this camera are really weird to look at, and so that's going to be interesting because I want to make sure that you can kind of see what I'm doing here. But I'm also just going to quickly pull up the recipe on my phone as well as I've got it on the computer, but I feel like it's going to be easier to look at on my phone. Anyways, how's everyone doing today? How are you? How have things been? Uh and how are you doing on this beautiful Sunday? I personally am terrified and questioning all of my life choices at this point because I've done art streams before, I've done game streams before, I have definitely never done a baking stream before, and this was something that we decided to do because I'm silly to celebrate getting 200 followers here on Twitch, which is, to be honest, for me personally anyways, no small feat. So I felt like we should do something to celebrate. So that's what we're doing right now. And I'm just gonna jump right in because there's a lot of like long waiting periods that are kind of weird in this recipe. Because it's yeast based. So I want to get the yeast going as soon as possible. I've just got this just standard yeast here. And I can't actually get into the package because it is solely unrippable. So I'm gonna have to, sorry, Sven's Torjest. I'm gonna have to cut it. Okay, here we go. Ah. So, Moogle, hello, welcome on in. How are you doing today? Moogle says, have coffee ready for pretzel. Hell yeah. Well, I hope that it lives up to the hype. I hope your coffee is good. I'm glad to hear that you have coffee. That is a good thing to have. I hope this yeast is alive, because that's always a slight risk. So I've dumped in a tablespoon of this yeast, to which I'm going to need to add a little bit of sugar and some nice warm water, which I'll just get from the tap in a second. But yes, how are you doing, Moogle? Lovely to see you. Hello, Sledge. How are you doing today? Welcome on in. Lino, hello. Lino says, Oye, Savalois, hello. I hope you are having a lovely Sunday. Sugar. Gonna need 2 teaspoons of sugar, apparently. So we'll get this going, and then once this is it's quite an active sort of initial phase, and then we're gonna have a bit of a break. I might throw on a game or something at that point. Honest Monk, hello, welcome on in. How are you doing today? I'm just sprinkling some sugar onto yeast, as you do. Lux, hello, welcome on in. How are you doing? Welcome to this so far quite yeasty adventure. Now, I'm just gonna have to step away for just a second to grab some warm water. It specifies warm water, so let's see how warm is my tap. My tap is very nice and warm. I think that'll do quite nicely. Okay. That's about right. Okay. Okay, cool. Honest Monk says, I'm good, not as hungover as I thought I would be, so yay, congratulations, that's awesome. I'm going to carefully pour a quarter of a cup of this warm water over the yeast to try and bring it to life. That's you know what, close enough. It doesn't have to be 100% perfect at this point. None of this has to be 100% perfect. It's all fine. And, we just need this to hang out for like 5 minutes so that the yeast and the sugars can get to know each other and hopefully create a nice, active, foamy mass. I'm really selling this as like the deliciousness of this, aren't I? Oh, goodness me. Yay for minimal hangovers, says Sledge. Indeed. I'm happy to report that the like tablespoon, sorry, not even tablespoon, the teaspoon of mint chocolate liqueur I had last night in my hot chocolate did not produce a hangover, thankfully. It did not produce anything else other than deliciousness as well, thankfully. Okay, I would like the yeast that's stuck on this spoon to dissolve. That would be super rad. And then I will set this to one side while we measure out our flour and stuff. And then they can all get to know each other at that point. You know what? I'm going to call that good enough. And we're going to put that to one side. And I'm going to bring in my coffee because, you know what? I'm going to need it. This is the Honduran Yuletide coffee that we've been enjoying. That was a gift from myself to my lovely moderator and spouse, Twitch user Sledge Callier. Not sponsored, but this is a really good cup of coffee, so I can vouch for this roastery being delightful. Anywho, Pygmy, hello, welcome on in. How are you doing today? Lovely to see you, Theo. I hope you're having a good Sunday. Oh my goodness. So Theo says, would you believe, seriously? I have never had a pretzel. Wow. I mean, I would, but I'm surprised. Also, I appreciate the love for the Tim Hortons mug in the shot. I don't actually have anything in it. I'm gonna make a cup of tea in that later, probably. I've got my coffee in my Little Miss Giggles mug right now. That is very good. Tex says, hey Sammy and everyone, how are you all? I am terrified, but otherwise fine. How are you? Oh yay. Theo says, I'm better than yesterday and I managed to eat. Good. Eating is good. That's good for your well-being. Glad to hear it. I'm gonna, I guess, gorge myself on pretzels later. Oh, Theo says, I was so sure you were going to say that the mug was a gift from myself to my lovely self. I mean, also, yes, also Terry is here. Hi, Terry. Thank you. Anywho, what have I missed? Tex, yes, how are you doing? It's lovely to see you. Thank you, honestly, thank you everyone for being here. I very appreciate it. Okay, so the recipe, I'm kind of cobbling together this recipe from a couple of different recipes, to which end I've got, just very carefully trying to open this bag of bread flour, and I'm getting flour all over my hands, and it's nasty, and I don't love that for me. But one recipe that I am not using today, but that I thought was quite good, actually calls for mostly bread flour, but a little bit of rye flour, and I love rye flour, so I thought that would be a nice thing to do. So I'm gonna do that here, and I do need quite a bit of flour. This is gonna be about 500 grams altogether. So if I do, okay, I've got 473 grams of. Maybe I'll just make it a solid like 4. Okay, that's 489 grams. Fine, close enough. And to that, I'm just going to put away the bag of flour now because I no longer need it. I'm going to supplement with this rich and robust dark rye flour. Yay. Okay. What I missed in chat. Eddie, hello, welcome on in. I'm just about to weigh in my rye flour. Very exciting times. Diddly diddly dee. 511 grams, that'll do. Okay. Wizard. I can see that something is happening to the yeast mixture over there. It smells like yeast, so that's a good start. Or can I pop this rye flour? Rye flour can go back there, that's fine. Okay, and I'm gonna need to add some salt to this as well. Which I should probably, how much? 2 teaspoons of salt. Okay, so I've got my handy dandy, inappropriately tiny spoon, but that'll do. Because this recipe's from America, so all of the things are in, like, cups and stuff. But never mind. Now then. What have I missed in chat? I do apologize to anyone who loves pretzels and is just absolutely horrified by my technique. Please bear in mind, I've never made pretzels before. I've made lots of other things. But pretzels, nope. So that's 1. That's 2. That's a 3. And hang on, let me try and get this in camera. Not going very well, but 5, 6, 7, and 8. Okay, that is a delightful complement of seasoning. That'll do me quite nicely for that. Cool. And pop the salt back off to one side and maybe just grab something dry that I can... Oh no, Honest Monk says, I made a pretzel once in grade 1 and it tasted like chalk. You're doing great. Well, thank you very... Was it made out of flour or was it made out of chalk? Theo says, I have 3 of those inappropriate spoons. Look, I couldn't find my teaspoon measure for this and I didn't want to just fudge it by trying to use 1/3 of the tablespoon, so... It is what it is. Most of the time I use grams in recipes, but I was really struggling to find the right recipe for this that used grams and not cups. So, 'tis what 'tis. Poison Hoarder, hello, welcome on in. How are you doing today? We are stirring up some flour, and I'm trying to determine whether or not it's been 5 minutes since I mixed my yeast together, and I think at this stage it probably is. Right. Honest Monk says, I don't remember what was in it, but I swear I think I followed the recipe. Well, you know, I definitely baked some things in grade 1 that didn't quite turn out to plan, so I feel that. Oh, Eddie says, I was so excited for this lovely stream, you even made me get out of bed again. Yay for being out of bed, that's fantastic. Ooh, Poison Hoarders is doing fab. Leftover Chinese food for lunch. And congrats on 200 followers. Thank you so much. I really appreciate it, genuinely. I am so grateful to you all for being here. Now, I have to concentrate for just a second to make sure that oh, damn. Honest Monk, thank you very much for following. Thank you, thank you. Luna says, hey, Sammy. Hey, Luna. Welcome to some mixed flour. It will get more interesting from here, I promise. Right. I just want to make sure that I've got, okay, add the salt, the proofed yeast, and the 1 cup of warm water. And then I don't have a stand mixer with a hook attachment, so I'm just going to initially mix it with this, because I'm not fancy like that. I don't have a stand mixer, you know, but this yeast was looking nice and sort of foamy and active. So hopefully that means we're going to get a good dough out of it. If it turns out that this yeast was dead and we end up with bricks, hopefully at least they're pretty bricks, so nobody needs to know. I mean, besides me. Anywho. Linus says, cups and tablespoons are standard as a standard measure is an insane system. It is an insane system. It's like the volume thing. It's just wild rather than weight. But a lot of people in North America don't have like a kitchen scale as standard in their kitchens. So I guess that's why. But yeah. Kobe, hello, welcome on in. Welcome to the pretzel adventure. I am so terrified. But hopefully, one of the reasons that I wanted to add a little bit of rye flour to this is also that, like, yeast loves rye flour. So it's a good ingredient to have in there if you want to make sure that your yeast works really well. Albino says, I am excited. Oh, I hope it's okay. Kobe, pretzels, hell yeah. I really hope that they work. Vera says, Sammy, I'm going to lurk for a bit, but I'm so excited. Thank you so much for the lurk, Vera. It is lovely to see you. And Honest Monk says, oh, I use cups and tablespoons and I'm Canadian. I am Canadian too, and I grew up using cups and tablespoons. I really didn't start using like a kitchen scale until I moved to the UK. And now it's just normal for me to do that. I'm gonna actually shift the scale out of the way because I don't need that. I'm not weighing anything at the moment. In fact, I don't think I need to weigh anything else for the recipe. It's at this point, it's fairly simple. It's also very dry. I think I may need to add a little bit more water than is called for to get the proper, like, dough, because this is looking really... This is looking just a little bit too shaggy, I feel like. You want it to be a little bit shaggy at this point, but not so shaggy that it's, like, super dry. So I'm gonna just decant out a little bit more. Nice, just above blood temperature water. And just kind of sprinkle it in until I feel like it's coming together. You don't want to overdo it and have your dough be like, you know, liquid, because that's not going to be that's not going to be very easy to shape. And you can always add more flour after the fact, but then your like yeast to salt to flour ratio can kind of, if you're just continuously adding more water and more flour and yada yada yada, you end up in a situation where there just isn't enough yeast to go round. Oh no, ounces. Oh, ounces. No, ounces hurts my brain. But yeah, Theo says, I hate cups a lot. I'm Norwegian. We only do metric and also grams. Yes, hell yeah. Grams are delightful. Tablespoons are units of milliliters. So they don't go with cups. And why do ounces exist? They're both weight and volume. Ounces are really confusing to me. Liquid dough is batter, says Theo. Batter is no. Exactly. We don't want a batter here. We want a dough. But I think this is, it's probably quite dry in my house. I don't want, if you make your dough too dry, then you're going to end up with a situation where it's too stiff to like rise properly. It needs hydration in there to really get it sort of moving. That is a little quite big piece of husk. I'm just going to pull that out because we don't need that. Sen, hello, welcome on in. Yes, we do. We've got a dough. We're like not that many minutes into the stream and we already have a dough because that's the process. Okay. I might actually need to just actually get in here with my hand at this point and just start doing this. Okay, this dough is definitely come together. I don't think I want to add any more liquid to it at this stage. Because I don't want it to be too... This isn't like a focaccia or something where you want like an especially wet dough. So yeah, for sure. Wait, what? Okay, hold on a second. I've had a hydrate from Lino, thank you very much. I'm missing some chat. I will catch up in a second. Delicious. Thank you. Yes, hydration was mentioned, indeed. Meeful says, oh, pretzels, yes. Oh, pretzels. Okay, this dough is actually quite shaggy now. So I think I'm going to want to give it some hand work. I do not have a stand mixer. I'm not that fancy. So I have to do this kind of thing by hand. Gonna try and check in with chat. It's so messy. I wanted to see, Honest Monk says, can I just say that industrial boilers in North America are measured in how many pounds of water it can hold? And I think about that often. Oh, pounds of water. It hurts. That hurts my brain to think about. No. I'm getting some German words. So is dough, am I getting right that dough is Teig in German? Which is cool. And then Norwegian it's Deig, which indeed those seem very related. Malemony says, hands are more interesting to watch. Indeed, and I'm so sorry, everyone, for having to witness just how messy and gross this is. Because this is really messy and really gross. But the payoff, hopefully, will be a nice, smooth, happy dough at some point. Dough means deer, says Albino, specifically a female one. Albino also says, my confession up front, I do not like pretzels, but I will enjoy watching them being made. That's okay, because it's over the internet, so unfortunately I'm also unable to feed this to you, so, you know. Pygmy says Norwegian and German is terrible because they're so similar in some places, and then German goes, ah, no, I'm actually more similar to English, and I just think that's evil. Oh no. Oh no, I just think languages are interesting. Truly, I do. I don't know I did German for a few years when I was a you know, sort of a youngin' at school. I know very little Norwegian though. But English is a weird language. It's such a confluence of different influences over the years of like various peoples who came and lived here. Which has affected its development in really weird, interesting ways. We've got like the Germanic influences, we've got the Celtic influences, we've got the French influence. It's just a lot. Sen says in Middle English, I heard it spoken once. It was like, hey, that's almost German. I actually studied Old English for a semester at university, and it was really interesting. It's a much different, like, Old English is such a different language to modern English. Like the through line is confusing, and where is it? Like, there were all these different, like, tenses and cases and stuff that modern English just does not use. It was really, really wild to me that apparently at some point we just sort of dropped all that stuff. Yeah. I did very well in that Old English course. God, this dough is so sticky. This is this is not the easiest to work with at this point. I'm honestly tempted to drop in a little bit extra flour because, like, this is horrifying. I'm actually not a huge fan of, like, kneading dough and having, like, stuff on my hands, so you can imagine how much of a sensory nightmare this is for me right now. I'm doing this because I love y'all, okay? But I think at this point, I might switch to the bench scraper, like, stretch and fold technique, which I think will probably do better. Anyways, build that gluten, says Melemony. I'm trying my best. How are you doing today, by the way? It's lovely to see you. Okay. Thankfully, it is a sticky dough, but it unsticks with relative ease, which I love to see that, because, hoo boy. Also, I am only using my right hand because I didn't take off my wedding ring, and I don't want to get dough all over my wedding ring, because, you know, it's very special to me. Okay. Just gonna BRB for a quick second to just wash my hand, and then we are gonna do some bench scraper stretch and folds, which are good. I'm just over here. You should still be able to hear me. Oh my. I'm seeing some interesting German tongue twisters, which I love to see. I've got husband behind me. No, I'm good. Yeah, I'm good. I love you.
Love you. Hello, everybody. Don't love you, I love her. Although you're all fine as well.
You're all breathtaking. Okay. Okay, my hands are free of dough. We have switched to the bench scraper. Let us continue. Oh boy, Melemony says it's just 8:30 a.m., so I am sat with coffee and tossing toys at Finn, who is wide awake. For anyone who doesn't know, Twitch user Melemony, a fantastic artist, has an adorable cat named Finn, who I love with my entire heart, and I hope is having a wonderful morning. Anywho, German tongue twisters. Oh boy, let me get back to German tongue twisters, cause I want to try. Apparently, Winkelmesser means protractor. I didn't know that. I don't think we really covered a lot of maths when I studied German though, cause why would I? I know how to say like, das Sweatshirt hier ist chic. Ich habe 10 Finger und 2 Hände. Honest Monk says, I once studied French for 9 straight years without retaining anything, and honestly, I think that's a little impressive. That's amazing. Congratulations. Your forgetting skills are very good. Let's see. Albino says, my main takeaway from German lessons was our teacher making us repeat zwischen zwei Zwiebelreihen over and over to improve our pronunciation. That's mean. That's too many tz's. I don't like it. But, yeah, anyways, Senesian says, yeah, me and my 4 rings have to take off before baking. Indeed, indeed. Okay. Okay. Between 2 rows of onions. Oh, delightful. I do love that. That's what that tongue twister meant. I knew the first bit, the zwischen zwei, between 2, but I did not know rows of onions because we didn't cover farming when I studied German either. We covered a lot about like mopeds and sweatshirts, as I recall, and sweat actually. Thankfully, I'm not sweating right now, but if I was, I would say, ich schwitze. Okay, this is... I used to know a Dutch tongue twister, says Honest Monk, but I can't remember it right now. Ooh, that sounds fun, though. This is, okay, this sort of, like, scrape and stretch and fold technique I really like for sort of giving the dough a workout without getting it completely stuck to my hands and getting it to the point where it's kind of, it's had a chance to hydrate, it's had a chance for the glutens to build without, you know, a dough hook or completely exhausting my hands and arms, which is also really nice. And as you can see, yes, I am left-handed, so it's much nicer to do it with this hand than the other one. Sen says, between 2 onion rows, that one would be in English. Also, Sammy, your German pronunciation is wonderful. Oh, danke. Thank you very much indeed. That's very kind of you to say. It's been many years since I've really had to use any German, so I haven't been to Germany ever, which does me a sadness. One of the things that I thought I was going to do when I moved to the UK was, you know, to, like, travel around and visit other relatively nearby countries that are much further away from Canada, which is, as you can tell by my accent, where I used to live. And have I had a chance to do any of that? No. I went on a day trip to France once, and that's been it. And it was a disappointing day trip because it was a ridiculously hot day, and there was not a lot to do in that town. So, yeah. But the brioche was delicious. Anyways. Theo says of Sen, du bist eine sehr schön und nett Eule. Oh, that's adorable. That's adorable. That means basically you are a really nice and, net. Is that also kind of nice, owl? I think something to that effect. Anyways, I cannot continue to German lesson because there's a lot that I don't, as recall I don't remember, as recognition I would probably do fine. Albino asks, where would Sammy like to go in Europe? Well, I really want to visit quite a lot of places in, like, Northern Europe. There are some really lovely places in, like, I want to visit where Lego comes from in Denmark. There's some really nice places in Norway. I'd love to visit the Faroe Islands, because they are just stunning. I also really want to go to Hungary. I'd love to see some Germany. But yeah, there aren't a lot of places I wouldn't want to go to, you know. But yeah, Honest Monk says, can confirm the commute to any European countries for me is a bit of a pain. Fair enough. You know, that's part of why I never did it when I lived in Canada. I never do it now because I have to have a normal job and I don't have a lot of time off. And when I do have time off, I, in previous years, couldn't afford it. And then now that I am actually able to save a little bit, there's a panini, and the economics, like, of my country is probably just going to get progressively worse to the point that I no longer have savings and hopefully can still afford to eat food. But I definitely stockpile, like, these, like, packets of microwave rice just in case we end up in a situation where, like, there's power cuts and no food is available. I have flameless ration heaters and instant pre-cooked rice, because I like to plan. Anyways, Theo says would love to go to the Faroe. They're so beautiful. They're so beautiful. But would like to stay away from all the whaling they do. It's kind of everywhere. Yeah, that's not so much my bag, but the landscape is heckin' gorgeous. So I'm there for that. Sen says, I only know some places in Italy, Greece, and Turkey. Ooh, yes, I would love to visit some Mediterranean places as well. I know Italy is delightful, but I'm also kind of nervous about going to places with quite, even warmer climates than here, because I really don't do well in like hot weather. But I am reliably informed by someone who grew up in Cyprus that 40 degrees Celsius in Cyprus is what 30 degrees in the UK feels like. So I feel like if I go on a slightly colder time of the year to someplace like Greece, I could probably cope just because of that. But I also really hate being exposed to sunlight. Not a vampire, just very intolerant of sun for some reason. Anywho, Honest Monk says, paninis. Oh, paninis, delicious. Okay, I'm gonna try and form this. We've been doing this for a while. I'm gonna try and form this into a ball, and then it's gonna need to rest for like an hour. And in that time, I'm gonna have to find something else to do on stream. Okay. We have a shaggy but ball. That, friends, frankly, will do. For now. I'm gonna grab a little bit of cling film, cover this up, and then we're gonna just let it hang out for like an hour. At which point we get to do all of the sort of shaping and all that good stuff. The shaping, and then another rest, and then we poach, and then we decorate, and then we bake. So, fantastic. Gonna check in with the chat real quick. Gonna maybe just pop this to one side. Check in with chat. Drink my coffee. And then decide what we're gonna do for the intervening period. I've had a look at the time, so I know, which is good. But yes, Albino says, Faroes are on my list too. I've been a lot of places. When I was at university, Interrail was a thing. So you bought one big train ticket that covered a month of travel across peter-friend countries. So I did that 2 summers running. Oh, that sounds so good. Sounds so good. Melemony says I could spend a month in Rome alone. Oh my God, seriously, it's beautiful. It's beautiful. I absolutely am there. And I'm sure the food is amazing as well. Not a vampire, just British, says Sen. Oh my God, am I British now? Am I finally British? It's been enough years? I mean, maybe. Theo says commuting between England and Europe. What was my mouth doing? Commuting between England and Europe seems like a dream to me. And I am in Europe, but Norway is just abysmal when it comes to trains in the rest of the world. Ugh. Trains in the UK are okay, but they're annoyingly expensive, which really does me a grumpy, because there are a lot of places in the UK I'd love to visit, but then I look up train prices and it's like, it's £200 to take like a 3-hour train journey. Yeah, you know what? Screw you. I'm just gonna stay at home then. Anywho, the layover in Sweden, you have to go to Copenhagen to get, if you want to get anywhere in Europe from Scandinavia. Oh, okay. It doesn't even align, so it's hours of waiting. Oh no, our train everythings are just horrible. But from England, you can just take a train to France in a few hours. Yeah. But there's also a lot of frustrating, because, as I say, trains within the country are very expensive. Melemony says France to Switzerland is a dream train ride. Ooh, yes. Switzerland seems fun. I would very like to go to Switzerland. All of the I don't like walking up and down hills, but I like being able to see mountains on the other hand. Theo says, I am not saying England seems like a dream or that you shouldn't complain. I'm just complaining too. No, it's totally valid to complain. Like, I feel that. That's fine. That's good. That's good. That's all fine. But yeah, Sen says it was cheaper for us to fly from Hamburg to Munich than taking the train. That is super wrong. I mean, a lot of flights are very cheap, but also there's the whole rigmarole of like going to the airport, which feels like more than just going to a train station, because you have to go through all the security checks and stuff, and it takes absolutely ages, which is just, it's just frustrating. Linus says, the expense of our transport system is awful. I know, it's garbage. It's just unchecked garbage. Poison Hoarder says, if you order very well in advance, it's a little cheaper, but still jank. Yeah, that's the thing. Like, sometimes you can save like a tittle bit of money, or sometimes you get like a specific journey that's weirdly cheap, but then you'll get another journey that's like roughly the same distance, and it costs like 5 times as much for no apparent reason. Oh my goodness. Theo says, if I want to go to Germany by train, I have to set aside a whole day to get to Copenhagen. Oh my goodness. That's all pretzels. That's too many. Hello, Samantha. Welcome on in. You're just in time for the pretzel dough is having its first little rest. It's a little bit shaggier, I think, because of the rye flour, but that's okay. But, I'm sipping my coffee, and I'm thinking of, maybe doing a little mini metro or something while we wait for the dough to rise. Theo says Sammy's accent will save us from the infrastructure, and I do try my best, truly. And I do hope that I'm succeeding, but I don't know. Honest Monk says, I mean, the entirety of North America's travel infrastructure was made to subsidize automobiles, so our train systems are abysmal. It usually takes me up to 2 hours to get to my neighboring city. Well, that is just honest to goodness. I don't envy America and Canada as well, to I think quite a great extent, in as much as at least the UK has trains. Whereas back in North America, you know, I like Amtrak is a thing that exists in the States, and I did use it once out of desperation, but it was very strange and a little bit frightening and quite expensive if I do remember correctly. So that's a thing. Such fun. Ed, hello, welcome on in. Welcome to the my true accent minutes, as some folks like to say. Anywho. We're just resting our dough now for about an hour, and then I shall get back to it then. Albino says, I thought I loved the one single train ride I took in the US from New York to Boston. Oh, you did? Was it easy? I'm quite interested to know this, because that might be a quite fun thing to do sometime in the future for Mr. and I, if we do ever get to travel again. I would quite like to take Dear Sledge to see New York City, which I do love very much as a place to visit. Sen says, yeah, train, you just hop on, find your seat, and you're golden. Just don't forget to get off at the right point. Indeed, indeed. Right, now. Apparently Svalbard is the best part of Norway. I want to meet Yorick. Who and where is and what? Tell me more about that. Now, I've had a request to tell you more about tea. So I'm going to have to think about something about tea to tell you about, because I didn't prepare for this, because I'm, whoops. Now, okay. I will tell you that, at the moment I've been drinking quite a lot of herbal teas, which, you know, there's debate in the tea community as to whether or not you can really say that an herbal tea is a tea, but do we really need to get into tea classification, debate again today? Oh, I see. Sledge says that's the polar bear from his Dark Materials. I see. That is not a thing that I've read, but I do like bears, so that's wonderful. Now, I've been drinking an awful lot of herbal teas. And, some of my favorite ingredients in herbal teas are chamomile and lavender, which is supposedly help feel you very, very relaxed and sleepy and reduce stress. And I'm not entirely sure that that's true, but they are delicious. And I do like them quite a bit. If anyone has any links to any peer-reviewed research with regard to the efficacy of these things, I would truly love to see it. Now then, what have I missed in? Okay. Theo says I need to tell you the story of my friend's acquaintance who got killed by an actual polar bear in Svalbard. Okay, I think I'm gonna maybe not go to there, because that's terrifying. I'm with Samantha, and I also choose to live in a world of cuddly polar bears in armor that are our friends, and don't feel provoked and to do a swipe with the big old paws. They are buddies. Anywho, Pygmy says my basis for comparison to your accent is BioShock Infinite, which is indeed a game that I've never played. So I shall take your word for it, but that's wonderful. Albino says there's a series of his dark materials on the television box on something called iPlayer, or is it IP Layer? IP Layer? I don't know. Anyways, if you're interested, only 2 of the 3 series exist so far. I look forward to getting stuck into it at some point when I've got some time. Lino says that cuddling in armor sounds logistically challenging, and I quite agree. But nothing is impossible. And Theo says, yes, the armored bears are famously cuddly in universe. Oh, I do love that. And I just realized, oh no, I just realized something terrible. I just realized something. You know, our dough is resting. I forgot a step. I forgot a step. That's why it's not so nice and smooth. Because I was supposed to add butter before I set it aside to rest. This is fine. I was supposed to knead it first. Then knead in the butter. So like everything's okay, you know, don't sweat it, but still, let me just sort of This is room temperature butter, but the thing is I left it overnight on the counter to come to room temperature, and wouldn't you know it, because my kitchen is such a cold environment, it was still like fridge solid when I got up this morning. So I basically put it when I was making coffee on the hob this morning, I kind of put the bowl of butter next to the coffee on the hob. And I think it was probably a good idea to actually let this relax for like 5 minutes or so before trying to add in the butter actually. So this is fine. But this is going to be a little bit gross, and then it's going to get really nice. I hope. Anywho. Maybe let's bring back our friend bench scraper, because it has a little bit more surface area with which to kind of squish and stretch and squish. The butter will give just a little tenderness to the crumb and a nice sort of lovely rich flavor. We love to see it. I am just trying to scrape as much of this butter into here as possible, because butter's delicious. Butter is flavor. Ooh. This is looking nicer already. Thank you, butter. I actually, according to the wisdom of bake-off judge Paul Hollywood, like enriched doughs, ones that have like butter or milk or eggs or a combination of all 3, are more difficult to work with because having the extra ingredients in them makes the yeast work less hard. I find quite the opposite. I find it much easier to work with an enriched dough. Like, it feels nicer. It always works well for me. The gluten builds delightfully. It's soft and delicious and just good. Like, it's fine. Are the pretzels saved, says Albino? Yes! Yes, they are. They're going to be absolutely fine. The pretzels have been saved. They're well buttered. And it is incorporating, which is a good. If I had a stand mixer, this would take like a minute, but I don't. Look how much smoother the dough is already. Like, the butter really helps. I think I'm just going to have to actually get in with my hands and finish this with hands. In your face, Paul Hollywood, and your obviously fake name. Sammy says you're wrong, says Albino. You are correct, babe. Don't. I know it looks beautiful to squish, but you don't want to get butter all over your hand, do you? Unless you do want to get butter all over your hand, in which case, have at it. You do the kneading, then. Fair enough. This is actually, you know what? Now that the butter has been added to it, this dough feels so much nicer to work with. Like, it's not sticking at all. It's really nice and smooth. It's super gushy, but it's in a really satisfying way. I don't know if this is satisfying or frustrating to watch. I keep getting... That was really fun, and I hope that you enjoyed it. I certainly did. I'm going to change back to food and drink. There we go. Food and drink. Okay. We're baking again. Yay! Oh, Honest Monk says, you don't need them, you need the dough. Oh, Moogle says, Neil degas Tyson. Yep. Indeed. I'm just gonna actually not dox my phone's unlock code on stream. I feel like that's probably wise. Okay, so I need to degas the dough and then divide it into 12 pieces. Okay. Cool. I might actually need to I'm gonna need to get in there and do stuff with my hands now, so I'm going to de-wedding ring. I'm so sorry, but it's in my pocket. Nice and safe. Sweetie, everything's fine. I am very much still very happily married. Now, punch down. I'm just going to use my buttery spoon to kind of get in there a bit. Oh, so satisfying. That rose so much. Do you remember how diddle this ball was when we started? And then it puffed way up. So I'm really happy to see that the yeast is very, very nice and active. I think actually probably the easiest way to divide it into pieces. I'm not bothering to weigh these out because, listen, I'm a home baker, and it doesn't matter if it isn't perfect. So I'm just gonna roughly divide this into sixths, and then kind of do some strategical ripping at this point. Oh, so buttery, so buttery. Do some strategical ripping. Pop this bowl down. And then we need to divide. Oh, we've got a lurk for food from Rob. Have a fantastic lurk. I'm just going to pinch and split this into 2 balls. Actually, oh shoot. Before I do anything really with the dough balls, obviously, this is an impeccably clean countertop, by the way. I need to prep my pans. Because once these have been shaped, they're going to need to sit on their baking pans. But the baking pans are going to need some parchment. So first things first, going to wash my hands again. And then I'm hoping that I have enough space on these baking tins to actually place these. But we'll see. I've got some nonstick baking parchment here. I'm going to rip what I'm hoping is a correctly sized piece. I'm sorry for the noise. There we go. Okay. So I have ripped an appropriately sized piece of baking parchment, which is gonna just pop that onto the tray. And yep, so we've got a lurk from Rob. Have a fantastic lurk. We've got a lurk from Poison Hoarder is bouncing. Gotta bounce, says Poison Hoarder. Good luck with the pretzels. Thank you very much indeed. I will post pictures for anyone who misses the end of the stream, or for anyone who misses parts of the stream. I will be posting pictures of all of the things that we got done today onto Discord and probably Twitter and stuff as well. If you're not in the Discord, !Discord if you would like to join. If not, that is also fine. We have a fun time there. It's a very quiet time, but it's my time and I like it. So it's all good. Oh my goodness. Honest Monk says, oh boy, you're sorry. It's even more Canadian than mine. I honestly, at this point, I don't know if it's like a reflex to try and like reassert my Canadianness. Oh, sorry about that. As I live abroad and don't want to lose that part of me. Okay. This tray is a little bit smaller, so I'm going to have to kind of do this paper in halfsies, because otherwise it is way too long. And then I have another piece of paper for a subsequent tray filling. We'll see if we get all of the pretzels onto here. I am not super confident. If we don't, I will have to get more trays out, but we'll see how we get on with this much at this point. I think we shall try in any case. All right, this is I'm excited for this part. I'm very excited for this part because now we get to shape, which is very exciting. Okay, so what we want to do first, I'm just going to take I've got my recipe here, which has some nice little sort of like picture references, but I don't feel like I super really need them. But we just want to roll, and I'm not using, because it's quite a buttery dough, I've decided to actually not really flour my surface because I don't think it needs it at this point. I'm just gonna try and stretch this out as far as I can. And just the one thing to kind of be mindful of at this point, I feel like, as you stretch, is that you want, and it's okay if it's not perfect, because mine are definitely not going to be perfect because I've never worked with this dough before and I've never made pretzels before, is to try and get a situation where it's a little bit thicker in the middle, and I don't think I've done a super fantastic job of that here. So, whoops. And also it's probably a good idea to do a bunch of these at once and then do the shaping. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to grab a cutting board just off to the side to put my sort of like pre-rolled pretzel snakes. And then I'll bring them back when we shape them. So let's roll all these out into little wormies. And then we'll go from there. Sen says, I will go lurk and do some back exercises. We'll be back. Have a fantastic lurk. I hope that your back feels nice and well exercised and good. And have a wonderful time. We're just doing a little shapey shape. And once we've shaped all of the pretzels, they're going to need to rest. Probably, I'm going to give them like another half an hour. And then we get to poach, and then we get to bake. So possibly a little bit more of words strem, and then this is already feeling like a better shape than the previous one. The one trouble is that I don't have masses of countertop space here with which to do it, but we can make do with what we've got, I feel like. And also, if the pretzels are ugly, it doesn't matter. They will still taste delicious. Like that is totally fine, frankly. I am always of the belief that I very much prioritize the deliciousness of my baking over really anything else. Well, obviously edibility. I want it to be something that you can eat and not die, preferably. But apart from that, I'm gonna try and get whatever the bit of my mic cord that was hitting the countertop out of the way. This one's sticking a little bit, but that's fine. That's good. You want a little bit of resistance, I think, because it helps with the, I think it does actually help with the shaping a little bit, so I don't want this to be floured. I don't want the dough to become too floury, because that's how you get a really, if your dough has too much flour in it, that's how you end up with a dough that doesn't have enough like liquid to kind of become steamy to do the rise. And that is how you end up in a situation where you've got dough that's going to end up making a really dense bread that is not very pleasant to eat. And I don't want that for us. I want a delicious dough. So it's okay. It's okay if it's a little bit sticky. The butter really helps basically make it non-stick at this point, which I love. I love working with a butter-enriched dough. I think it makes for delicious bakes. You can, if you wanted to make this vegan, use an oil of your choosing. Vegetable oil would work fine. Coconut oil, I would, even though it has the same melting point as butter, I would avoid in a circumstance like this, just because it really does impart a very strong coconut-y flavor, especially in something that doesn't really have a lot of strong native flavors of its own, like pretzels. Hello. Okay. So we've shaped a few of these now. Whoop. Okay. Yeah, not sure if coconut goes good with pretzels, says Sen. Yeah, I would not coconut pretzels. But then there's that pretzel place that exists in like shopping centers and stuff. We have one in Oxford that probably does all kinds of different flavors. I don't know if they do a coconut one, but they definitely do a lot of flavored pretzels. Like the cinnamon, I think, is a classic. Cheese is a classic. I personally, my favorite pretzel is just pretzel flavor, honestly. Yeah, Moogle says, I had no idea you could poach dough. Honest Monk says, did you know the dough is actually going extinct due to poaching? Tragic. Oh no. But yes, poaching is indeed... you know how bagels have that, like, characteristic chew? And, okay, this is not the most perfect shape, but honestly, I don't care. It will be fine. I'm gonna pop that right down. Cool. Again, everything's fine. It doesn't matter. Sen says, pretzels over here are poached in some kind of lye. Yes. So the traditional method for pretzel making involves, basically, once the pretzels have been shaped and rested, dipping them into a little bath of, like, a solution of food-grade lye, for a few seconds, before popping them into the oven. This is what gives them that characteristic, very dark color and flavor. Lye is basically a very alkaline soda. By soda, I mean like bicarbonate soda. So, yes, Sen says Natronlauge, or caustic soda, or caustic lye, according to Gold. Yes, exactly. So it's a very caustic soda. And what this means is it's very, very alkaline. So, it's, you have to be very careful and very mindful of safety when working with any food that does, like, a lye bath. Which is primarily pretzels is sort of the main culinary application of lye that I'm aware of, though I think there are other things. Oh, there is a type of fish in Scandinavia that is like dried fish that is then turned into this, like, sort of jelly sort of fish situation called lutefisk, which I'm probably pronouncing horribly, but that is also treated with lye. It has some very interesting effects on the things that you use it to cook with. But basically the lye situation for us is that because it is something that you have to proceed with caution when using, and you have to, like, you should wear gloves. They do suggest it just in case it splashes. Like your lye solution splashes, you should actually wear long pants and long sleeves and have gloves on, and possibly even wear safety goggles when handling lye. And I'll be real with you guys, I'm nervous doing a baking stream in the first place, so I decided that this wasn't an acceptable level of risk for me, because I do not want to, you know, damage my skin in horrible, painful ways because something went weird on stream and I fucked up and I actually hurt myself. So the sort of midpoint solution to this, you see a lot of home recipes for pretzel baking that involve just using, having a pot of simmering water and adding bicarbonate of soda, aka this stuff. So just baking soda for those in the old country. And that works fine, because baking soda, as anyone who's ever done a volcano experiment as a child with vinegar knows, that it's very, very, very basic, very alkaline. Other supermarkets are available. This is just my local. It is very alkaline. You combine it with vinegar, it creates this whoosh reaction because it's an acid and a base coming together. You know, like child science. Anyways, but this is bicarb of soda that I basically put on a foil-lined baking tray in a slow oven for an hour. because baking it at sort of, about 100 degrees C for an hour in the oven increases its alkalinity. So this is more alkaline than regular bicarbonate of soda, but not as alkaline as lye would be. So it's a little bit safer, but it should still give a result that is close to the traditional sort of dark pretzel flavor and look. So that's what I'm using. Oh, I've got a fantastic, very silly, very silly jokes in chat. Honest Monk says, sometimes you just gotta let it lie. I know, right? Texas bicarbonate of soda is a basic bitch. Oh my god. Oh my god. Sledge says, why would you shop anywhere else, winky face? We're not getting paid to say that, babe, so other supermarkets are available. Shop where you want. Honest Monk says, just imagine if only one supermarket was available. Oh no, that's the nightmare scenario. To do our full weekly shop, we do end up going to like 3 or 4 different supermarkets in our area to get all of the ingredients that we want to use, so, Anyways, I was just gonna bring this back. So I've formed 6 pretzel snakes now that I've just got on a chopping board over here, and I'm gonna start shaping them because I just want to be sure that I've actually got enough space on my baking trays to do it. So we're gonna start. This is the terrifying part because I have to remember how a pretzel looks. Now, experts and people who've done this a lot will know that will know how to shape pretzels to the point that they can just sort of like pick it up in the air and twist it and get it to do it correctly. I am not that expert, so I am just going to do it like that and hope for the best. And you know what? Hey, that's a pretzel shape. It's not a good pretzel shape, but it's a pretzel shape, and that will do. And it's also small enough that I feel like I should actually be able to get a few of these onto a tray. I was really scared that they were all going to be really, really big. But I think this might be fine. I think I should be able to get 4 onto this small tray, and we'll see how many we can do onto the other tray. Oh, thank you so much, Eddie says Bavarian approved pretzel shape. I very appreciate knowing that I have some approval from at least one good person of Bavaria. I very appreciate it. Danke. Okay. 2. First, you make a smiley face. Honest Monk says, good call from someone that accidentally mutilates their hands more than Ethan from Resident Evil 8. Oh no, good call on the hand safety. Yeah, no, absolutely. I already have, did I do it? I did. This one's got quite a small, let me see if I can just kind of get the holy bits a little bit bigger. But that's a pretzel shape. I don't know if I can walk you through how I did it, but I will try to. I'm just popping these onto, just so you can see, I'm just popping these onto a parchment lined tray and sort of staggering them so that they've got enough space. I actually think I might only be able to fit 3 onto here. Maybe if I scoot this one down just a little, I can do 3 and then 4. We'll see. I don't want to crowd them because they are gonna rest for half an hour once I finish shaping them, and they are probably going to increase in size again a little bit in that period. So we shall see. But says my browser's playing a YouTube advert somewhere, but I don't see where. We'll reload the page, now it's gone. That's so weird. I hate when autoplays happen and you don't know where they are. Census, or one very big one you can buy during Oktoberfest. I've never been to an Oktoberfest celebration, but I do appreciate the idea of a very big pretzel. Maybe, you know what, maybe I can take one of my remaining balls of dough and try and make a giant pretzel from it. I can try, though. That's gonna impact the baking time, I feel like. I'm gonna stretch this out a little bit. It does want to be quite long to get the shape, I feel like. Okay, so I've got my U shape. I twist, come around, pull down, went too far down, squish, cute, little, happy little buddy. I like when there's a little gap sort of right here. I didn't get that on this one, but you know what? It'll be fine. It's probably all going to sort of smush together anyways in the baking. So, going to try and just give it a little bit of a stretch on its way to the tray. There we go. Okay, that's number 3. Let's do another one. This is so fun, y'all. Okay, gonna stretch this back out because it does want to kind of retract on itself. You want to give the dough a little bit of a chance to relax. It lets the glutens relax and it makes it's elastic, but it doesn't, if it's springing way back in on yourself when you're trying to shape it, it needs to rest basically. Okay, so flip, and there. Oh, this is quintessential pretzel shape right here. Look at this cute little friendo. I love it. This is so fun. Honest Monk says my most recent one was forgetting that I put a frying pan in the oven, and after I took it out, I tried to grab it by the handle. Oh no! Oh, are you okay? Oh my goodness! Did you have an oven glove on? Oh no! Sen says we have smaller ones all over Bavaria. Like every city has their small little so-called Herbstfest. Oh, that sounds so nice though, and you can get giant. I want to go to a Herbstfest. That sounds so good. That sounds like so much fun, honestly. I like a good festival. I truly do, you know? That sounds like a very nice time to me. Okay. I've got one tray that's got 4 pretzels on it. I'm going to get to work on the next set I'm going to make some more pretzel-y snakes. We'll see if we can get 6 onto the next tray. And then I've got leftover dough. Oh no. Okay. Okay. So this ball of dough is a little bit bigger, alarmingly, but never mind. This will just be a slightly larger pretzel, which is fine.
9.
What?
9.
Ah, the slightly larger pretzel has been claimed by Sledge. Fair enough. I mean, there's gonna be multiple pretzels. You can have potentially upwards of 6. Honest Monk says, I used a mitt when I took it out, but not afterwards when I forgot I had just put it in the oven. Oh no. Oh no, I'm so sorry. Sen says, the one in my city has the most of the stores and rides that go to Munich Oktoberfest too. But for a third of the price. Hell yeah, that sounds really nice. That sounds extremely pleasant. Got a nice sear on my hand. Oh, Honest Monk, no. That sounds deeply unpleasant. Meeple says, I can has Pretzel? Hell yeah. I mean, I can try to DM it to you. Not sure how well that would work, but yes. If I could like send all y'all some of these pretzels, I super would. Also, how are you doing, Meeple? How are you doing today? Welcome on in. Hello, hello. Gonna try and get a really good stretch on this big boy, and then I'm going to transfer it to my other space to rest and wait while I do a little bit more shaping. The shaping of the balls. Hello, Alba. Welcome on in. How are you doing today? Oh no, Alba says, cool, my address is... Stop! You stop right there. Do not dox yourself on my stream, please. I know you weren't gonna, but still. Evil says, one last game, hopefully ongoing at work, and then I can head home soonish. Hell yeah. I hope you've had a good day. I hope that the participants have been fun to work with, and I hope that you've had a good time. Honest Monk says, I'll even pay for it. My credit card information is... Stop! No. No, absolutely not. Do not do. Meeple says, which is good because I need food and want to stream. Oh yes, I would very much love if you could feed yourself. That would be a good. Eating is important. This is, I guess, a good time to remind everyone on the stream if you haven't had any snacks or anything in a long time and you need to eat, make sure you have something to eat. If you haven't had anything to drink in a while, please be sure to hydrate. Speaking of, I'm going to take a sip of my very now cold coffee. Also, Meeple, if you do stream later, I will be sure to stop by. Because that would be nice to see. Okay. Now then. One more. Do I want to The distribution of dough seems really uneven here, so I'm just picking some up from the bowl. I'm gonna add it to this. So then I've got 2 more in the bowl. I think, wait, that gives me an odd number. What did I just do? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Okay, yeah, no, this is a single ball of dough in that case, in which case I'll pinch off a little bit more. This is going to be a very big pretzel. We need a radical redistribution of dough. We truly do, indeed. Gonna sort of pinch this in on itself, like you would a baguette, kind of. And then, if I can get a little bit of a taper onto the ends. This is, oh, just a horrifying dough worm. But it is, seize the grains of production, says people. Thank you so much for that. That's hilarious. We need a radical redistribution of dough. Yes. Yes, I love it. Thank you, friends. Very good. Okay. Stretch. See if it wants to retract on itself a little bit, but as long as it's not, if you stretch it out and then it just goes like way back, then it needs to relax a little bit. But our dough is looking good. Our dough's looking real good. This is a very uneven tapering of snake, but you know what? It'll do. It'll do. Got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Wait, that only makes 10 pretzels. Sorry, I'm having a mathematical moment. I think I goofed. I think there's too much dough in this pretzel snake, and I need to pinch a little bit back off, pop it in there. That makes 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Okay. Yes, correct. Okay, we got there. So I'm gonna stretch out this end bit, and this one is gonna be a little bit thinner, but that is the size it should be. This recipe should make 12 pretzels. We need to take down the bourgeoisie, says Honest Monk. Oh. I mean, yes, I wholeheartedly agree, but oh, the punnage happening in here is just savage. My word. Okay, this is our final dough portion, so I'm gonna bench scrape out like that and that. Is it perfectly even? No. Do I care? No. I'm a home baker. This is just for me and my house and my partner. They don't need to be exactly the right size or shape. I'm not producing this for a commercial bakery. I've done that before. Not pretzels specifically. I did make bagels for a commercial bakery. The bakery of a sort of small, like 3-store chain of cafes that exists here in my city of residence. It was a terrible job, and I hated it a lot. It was very, what's the word? Soul-destroying, I think is the word that I'm looking for here. Okay, this is relaxed down a little bit, so I'm going to kind of try and re-stretch it just a smidge. So I've got enough length to work with, and then we twist, and we twist, and we squish, and we have a pretzel shave. How cute is that? How are my little resting pretzels doing? They still look misshapen but precious, I think is how I would classify those. And that, frankly, is absolutely fine with me. They do not need to be perfect. They just need to be themselves. And what a lovely thing that is to be. Okay. I think actually if I put the pretzels sideways on this one, I should be able to easily get 6 on there. And then I'm going to need to find another tray to put the last 2. Either that or I pop the last 2 just onto a plate in the fridge and let them rest sort of in the fridge for longer than everything else and do them afterwards as like a bonus batch. I don't know. This one's going to be really uneven and weird looking, but bear with me. Okay. That was some very bad shaping on my part, but listen, once it's poached and puffed up, you won't really be able to tell. Ooh, okay, I've got another tray. I've got another tray that will fit the last 2 pretzels. Fantastic. Thanks, babe. I appreciate it. And you. Wait, come back. Mwah.
You are all never going to taste these pretzels because they're all mine.
He's so cruel. That's just mean. I was trying not to remind them of that. Oh, well, okay. I think I should just be able to fit 6 pretzels onto that tray. And then I've got another little tray that I can put another 2 on. So that's really good. I'm going to give this just a little additional roll. Pull it out. Stretchy, stretchy, stretch. Like that. Look at that glorious U shape. You love to see it. Or at least I do. Moogle says that sludge is the Dogewazi. Oh no. Oh no. What have I married into? Okay. Twist. Twist. This one has a teeny tiny twist and a big bit in the middle. This pretzel is going to turn out real weird, but you know what? It'll taste good, so who cares? Popping it onto the tray. Happy little pretzel. There have not been enough pretzel emotes in chat. For anyone who's new here or who isn't subscribed, just FYI, the reason that all this is happening is that I have a channel point redeem that is some of you may have heard earlier when I do the old-timey mid-Atlantic accent for 5 minutes, and one of the things that I do when I do the old-timey mid-Atlantic accent for 5 minutes is thank you for the hydrate, Yemeth. Is I say old-timey phrases, and one of the ones that I just am really fond of saying is pretzels. Which I don't think is really even an old-timey phrase that was in use. I don't know, I heard it once and I really like it. And I liked it so much that I decided I wanted to make a pretzel emote. And then at some point, I think we were at about 150 followers, and I was like, screw it. You know what? If we hit 200 followers, I will make pretzels on stream. And that's why we are here today, friends. So, there. Okay, so I've got my little ooh shape. I'm going to pull these around, twist, and just give it a little finessing at the end there. Perfection. I mean, it's not perfection, but still. Yeah, this is better than the Dogewazi, though doggos are good. Doggos are good. I love doggos. These pretzels, I think the classic pretzel shape is very cute to me. Yemeth says cute. Thank you very much, Yemeth. And I'm gonna shape the. I don't have a lot of space on this tray, so I'm gonna do 2, I think, slightly smaller pretzels at the bottom of it here. I'm just gonna form this into a ball first and foremost, and then we're gonna roll the ball out into a nice little sausagey wormy looking shape. And we're gonna see what we get. There's some variation in pretzel shapes. Some places will do a pretzel where the tapered ends are very thin and the center portion is much thicker, and then other ones you see where the sort of thickness of the various sections of the pretzel are much more even. So it seems to vary. Just gonna pop that down. Do the last snake, and then we've got 4 more to shape, and then they're gonna need to rest out on the counter for about half an hour. This kind of lets the surface of them dry a little bit, which makes them easier to handle when it comes to the bicarb bath and the subsequent bake. And then we will hopefully have something that looks like pretzels by the end. This is so much fun. I was so scared, and I'm having just an absolute heck of a time. I hope you guys are enjoying seeing this come to life. I really wasn't set up to do any sort of cooking or baking streams, so the setup for this has been very janky and very weird, but with a lot of help from my beautiful moderator and spouse, Twitch user Sledge Callier. I think we've done something that... Don't tell them about the soup. Sweetheart, you shouldn't have typed that in chat if you don't want me to tell them about the soup cans. My goodness. Oh no. I'm not going to tell them about the soup cans. Anyways, Yama says, yeah, the usual pretzel you get in bakeries here have thin, crunchy arms inside and softer, bigger circumference. How would you call that? Yes. Like the big sort of thick section in the middle, and then the sort of the bits that twist around are quite small and thin by comparison. I've kind of done sort of a midpoint, because you see sometimes here where it's basically the same thickness all the way around, and I think it should be a little bit thinner on sort of the arm portion, but I haven't done like extreme thin and thickness either, just because, to be honest, I don't know if my skills are up to achieving that sort of very southern German pretzel shape, but I'm trying my best, and they will be delicious. Soup cans. Yeah, so our tripod... I'm sorry, I'm just going to tell you. Our tripod is actually set on... each foot of the tripod is set on a soup tin, just to give it a little bit extra height, because if the tripod was just sitting on the counter, you would not be able to see enough of the surface for me to be able to demonstrate what it is that I'm doing. And also I'd probably be constantly bumping into the camera, and that's simply no good. So, okay, we've got a lovely ooh shape. And I'm gonna twist. Oh no, it's shrunken right in. Stretch back out, please. There we go. Gonna twist, shape. Oh, look at it, it's so cute! Such a cute little buddy. Oh no, one of the feet's come off. Okay, just smush in. You can literally just kind of, at this point, you can manhandle it a little bit. You can kind of just squish it in. It'll be fine. It's all fine. Everything is fine. Everything is going to be fine. Now, okay, I've got 2 pretzel forms left. I've got this tray rather. I'm going to try and just... The one trouble with using, parchment. Yemet says, that sounds like a lovely creative way to overcome a problem. Honest Monk says, that's a good use of soup cans. Hell yeah! Okay. Thank you. So, I've got my 3rd and final tray, and I'm going to shape my two final pretzels with my 2 very ridiculous thick ropes of dough. Here we go. Stretchy. Stretchity stretch. Gonna hope that it wants to hold shape like this. Yes, maybe. There's the sort of relative thickness of the bits of this isn't perfect, but it's, you know what? That's a pretty stinking cute pretzel, if I do say so myself. So let me bring this back. The trouble with having baking parchment that comes on a roll is it always wants to roll back up when you pop it down onto your tray, which can be a little bit of an issue when you're trying to set something down onto the parchment. And it keeps sort of rolling out of the way. There we go. 1 pretzel. Delicious. Delightful. I love it. And our final one for shaping, let me just swap out. I'm having to make very creative use of my kitchen counter space because I don't have a lot of it in this flat, and just in the way that we've had to kind of configure our like relative pantry and all that. So I'm trying my best. Okay, last one. Yay! It looks like an pretzel. Yemet says, have you tried making differently formed pretzels? Sometimes you get braided things here, among other things. Ooh! I could... Okay, I can undo this and actually do what I could do, because I do know how to do that, is just a nice, simple... Not going to do anything too silly with this, but just to see what happens. Just to see what happens. And these lengths are not even by any stretch either, which is, oh no. Maybe if I bench scrape a little bit extra off of this one and just tack it onto these to try and get a little bit more of an even situation. I'm just going to make a nice little 3-strand plait out of this and see what happens, because I can. So let me just give it a good old stretch. Let that hang out for a second. Just try and smush this onto the end and then stretchity stretch. There we go. Try and get them to about the same length, preferably. Pop that onto the end and just roll it out. Okay, let's see what happens if I try to, this one is way longer than the other two. Oh no, can I get y'all to stretch a little bit? Just a little stretchy stretch. Maybe I took too much off of this center one. Oh well, I'm gonna tack down the end as best I can and try to create just a little 3-strand plait. So we'll see how we get on. It might turn out very ugly because I only do these once a year when I make kolács, which is a Hungarian Easter bread, which is one of my favorite things to make, actually, is kolács. It's so delicious. It is such a joy of a dough to work with. And yeah, what if I make like, ooh, should I just leave it as like a plait, or should I form it into like a little circle, a little braided circle that looks real ugly on one end, but we don't talk about that because the rest of it's real pretty. So I'm just gonna do just a simple plaited ring, and we'll see how it turns out when it's done compared to the others. I think it will be interesting to eat, certainly. I don't know how it'll look when it's baked because I've never done. I mean, I've never done pretzel shapes before today, but I've definitely never done that shape either. All right, so I've got half an hour